broadcasting from the beautiful Norman P. Murray Community Center in the heart of Mission Viejo. It's Breakfast with Gary and Kelly, featuring special guest, the lovely, the sexual, Mindi Abair.
Welcome to Breakfast with Gary and Kelly, everybody.
Wow.
Thanks for being here. That's a good crowd.
We have a full house.
Apparently it's a grind send over no decaf this morning. I think that's a very good possibility. This is a great morning. This is a great morning. Look at this. Look at this. You see this? Other people all over the planet want this. They can't get it. Only here.
And for those folks at home listening, what is this?
Mindi Abair's brand new release, Wild Heart.
Oh.
We are so thrilled. I mean, this is not an easy thing to find time in her schedule. You know what I'm saying? But she is here this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mindi Abair. right, stick around. We're going to take a break, come back with Mindi Abair on Breakfast with Gary and Kelly. Welcome back to Breakfast with Gary and Kelly, where apparently we had to remind the audience not to flash. I don't know what that says about our audience. Some of you, it really is good advice, too, by the way. I don't know what that means. Mindi!
They've got to save it for the concert.
Is that what it is? That's what it is, exactly right. How are you? Thanks for being here. I'm so glad we finally made this happen. This is too cool.
We've been talking about
It's
this
time.
for 2 years.
I know. No, it's totally time.
It's like, woohoo! And this is so exciting today.
Look at this.
I was busy working on new music. I was in
No.
the studio. I was
Crazy
hibernating.
busy.
Oh, well, yeah, right, hibernating.
Okay, I was on the road and working on new music, and yeah. I like taking over the world. I like keeping busy.
You have been everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah. It's a good thing.
Busy.
How fun is this, huh?
I know. I literally saw the CD last weekend for the first time. You know, I got to tell you, it's a different thing. You know, as a musician, you go into a studio and you know, you write a bunch of music with your friends or, you know, hanging out. Then you go into a studio and you just kind of hole up in there, you know. You don't see the light of day for quite a while. And you do all this music, but then it has to sit around. And you can't go out and play it, and it's not on the radio, and you know, all this stuff. It doesn't really exist, but it does exist. So, you know, to get it out there and to see the artwork and to hold it in your hands, it's a very special thing. It's like, oh, my CD, it exists. It really does exist.
How long after it was finished to the production part where you actually saw it? What was the time frame?
You know, we finished recording this in November.
Oh, that long ago.
Yeah, and I finished just the last couple parts, like Greg Allman, we had written the song, but we hadn't
Greg Allman.
done it, yeah.
Greg
so
Allman, folks.
in the middle, I know, right?
My home, I just got chills. Okay, I goosebumps.
So yeah, in the middle of my Christmas tour, I literally, you know, hopped on a plane on our one day off and flew to Greg and recorded him and flew back. So, you know, just a few things were left for December, but then it was done.
Look at this. How cool is that?
That's
you and Greg Allman face to face in the studio.
Oh my goodness.
That is really, really cool. This whole thing is really a product of the last 2 or 3 years for you that have just been through the roof. I mean, the people that you've got on this deal, besides Greg Allman, Booker T. Booker T.
I love him.
Oh, my goodness. Talk about, you know, just...
You know, Booker T is one of those people. I had never met him, but I'm such a huge fan, and I wanted to make a record that was timeless and that maybe harkened back to that time that a saxophone was as integral of an instrument as guitar was. You know, back in the early rock days, King Curtis was as big of a star as any of the guitar players. You know, same thing with Junior Walker. It was really mainstream music. So I wasn't looking to make a smooth jazz record or a contemporary jazz record or a rock record or a soul record. I just wanted to make something that kind of was that ilk of the saxophone was a really cool, beefy kind of rockin' instrument that could get in there and get gritty and bluesy and all of that kind of harkening back to those days. Booker T did that better than anyone. I thought.
Absolutely.
And here's this guy that, you know, B3 was a real uncool instrument. No one listened to it until Booker T at 17 wrote Green Onions, and all of a sudden it was the hippest instrument on the planet, and everybody started using it. So I figured, you know, he knows instruments that are only known for one thing. Like saxophone, kind of now, people think of it as, oh, well, they play jazz if they play saxophone. Yeah. But that's not the case. So how do you change people's perceptions? And I thought, I want to get in a room and write with Booker T. I want his heart and soul, and I want his energy.
Explain the phone call. Did you call him? Hi, this is Mindi. You don't know me. I mean, how did you make that connection?
I literally asked everyone I knew.
Okay.
I asked, you know, guys in my band. I asked guys in other bands. I asked, you know,
put the word out.
Producers. I asked people at the label. Finally, one person, John Burke at Concord Records, who's one of the heads of Concord Records, is like, he is on our label. And I was like, I know. You could just call him because you probably have access to his phone number, right? I mean, I've been on your label for now 3 records. Maybe I've worked my way up to the fact, you know, that you would help me meet Booker T. He made a call, and we were in the studio writing in about a week. And I I was like a kid in a candy store. Yeah.
How old is Booker T now?
I don't know exactly how old he is. I mean, he was 17 when that first song came out, so he's not, right. He was really young when his fame started. But I think he's probably around my dad's age, 69 or 70.
Yeah.
But I mean, the guy just has this charisma, this spirit, and you get in a room, and he's kind of a man of few words, but musically, he thinks in melodies. And he's a keyboard player, but you listen to the songs on this CD. I know a lot of you have it in your hands. Listen to the songs that we wrote together. And you're not only going to hear my melody, but you're going to hear this melody that he is playing that's just shapes. And it's really amazing. He started out as a sax player.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Actually, he has one of my saxophones now because he wanted to take it up again, and he had given all his horns. Tell me what a great guy this is. I mean, what a spirit.
Wow. He
gave all his horns to the victims of Hurricane Katrina down in New Orleans.
Oh, my goodness.
Because they lost all their horns.
Amazing.
Can you imagine being the guy that, like, Booker T gives you his horns? Like,
I know.
No doubt.
So
I would be afraid to play it.
Yeah.
yeah, I know. But what a cool thing. He just wanted to give.
How about the girl that gives him a sax to get him back playing it again?
Well, yeah, I think.
How cool is that? That's pretty damn cool, too.
I think sometimes you have to be the karma. You can't just, karma's going to happen. No, sometimes I was just like, that's the best thing I've ever heard. And I got a saxophone at home, and I'm just going to bring it to you. So, yeah, that's what I did.
It's amazing.
And he's playing. So we've decided, he's doing a show with me May 30th to open up the Newport Beach Jazz Festival.
Right.
And I know. And we're going to do some of his hits and everything. And I asked him, do you want to play the sax and do something together? And he goes, not yet. But we are going to do it. So I'd say give him like 6 months or so. You're going to see both of us on stage with a saxophone.
Oh, my gosh, that'll be amazing.
Well, who else is on the CD? And this talk about karma and coming kind of full circle, Max Weinberg. Yeah. Right on the stage, you guys played.
I know.
Crazy.
Now, that actually happened coming out of the Newport Beach Jazz Festival, too. Clarence Clemens died a few years ago now. Yeah. And I'm, one of the only jazz saxophonists that bows down to him. I mean, as a kid, he was the big man.
Oh, yeah.
How could you be cooler than the big man?
Exactly.
I didn't want to be John Coltrane. I would have loved to be Clarence Clemens. I just thought he had all this power and this force, and every note he played, he just had everything in it, And he passed away, and I put something on Facebook and just said, what a loss. This guy was a real force of nature with the saxophone. He just, had such a sound, and he's going to be missed. And the promoter down at Newport Beach Hyatt called me, and he goes, Max Weinberg is playing this weekend, and he's going to keep his show. I figured he would cancel it, but do you want to come down and play some of Clarence's parts? And I was like, I know every solo. I know every part. You just name it. I am there with bells on. And so I went and played. And
how was that? I mean, how did that make you feel being on stage with him?
I was in heaven. I just thought, oh my gosh.
I would think that under any other circumstances, it would be totally heaven. But in that instance, there would be a lot of extra pressure. It'd be like, oh man.
I didn't feel it as pressure. I felt it as mourning, and because we were all at that point, he had been gone about 5 days, So I mean, it was very fresh, and I didn't know him. Max knew him for 40 years. He'd been in a band with him, and you could just see Max, just kind of feeling it. And I didn't know Max well, but for me, I'm sitting there playing the parts and just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm playing Clarence Clemens parts and he's not here, and I'm playing him with Max, and I felt this, just sadness, but, I guess sadness and euphoria at the same time. It was a little odd.
Yeah. Did you get to a peaceful setting as all? I mean, I would think that you would kind of like grow into your own and say, okay, I got this.
Yeah, it turned out to be a really beautiful thing, and at the end, Max came up to me and he goes, we're going on a little tour. You want to join us? I don't know if you got time off or, what you're doing. I'm like,
after I get done with Aerosmith, I'm sorry.
I've got to go with Max. So, I went, and it was a great it was a great way for me to kind of immerse myself in a little more blues and rock and roll. We were out on the road with Max and with Bill Champlin from Chicago, and this was one of our shows. We played here.
Right in this room. Yeah, exactly.
And how cool to be right back here for the release of my record. But it was great to immerse myself and get to play that kind of music with those guys that are, powerhouses. I mean, we're not talking, even just rock and roll. We're talking rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a great learning experience, and it was really, really inspiring. So when I started making this record, he's like, "Well, don't you need drums on it?" I was like, "Yeah." And literally, I mean, he's on the road all the time with Springsteen. They just got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, by the way, E Street Band.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Amazing.
But what a great guy. We met up in New York. I had a show with Peter White and Rick Braun for our Christmas show, and he was doing a show about a mile away, and I was like, "Can I get you in and out of the studio before sound check?" And he's like, "Yep." So we came in, we talked a little bit, and did the track, and had a blast, and went our separate ways. I went in and sat in with him after our show. But I mean, it's nice to have friends that'll, be, "Hey, do you need drums on it?" "Yeah." "Of course I do." Yeah, so he played on a track with Waddy Wachtel that Waddy and I wrote. And Waddy, you probably don't know this guy's name, but he's one of the most incredible guitarists on the planet. He played with Linda Ronstadt for years, Bob Seger for years. He's played with Stevie Nicks for years. The way that I met him was he's Adam Sandler's music director. And I started working with Adam Sandler in 1995.
Come about another one. Look at this. Too funny.
I'm laughing at him, see?
I know.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Harmonica
That's
song,
be
is he?
hilarious. You're doing the dreidel thing right there, right? Amazing.
Yeah, so it's fun to
great
have
stuff.
friends come on your record and help you kind of create a sound and a vibe,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're thrilled you're here. We're going to take a little break
Sure.
and come back and talk about creating some sounds.
You're gonna
Put these
create-
guys to work, all right? So stick around here on Breakfast with Gary and Kelly with Mindi Abair. We're doing a selfie.
Selfie.
Should we do it with the audience? Let's do it this way.
Do it to the audience.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys ready? Can you
Y'all
see
ready?
it?
Okay, here we go. Nice.
No, you're not in. You're in.
Awesome. I might
Nicely
look,
done.
I might look like Kelly's thumb in that one if you see it. So we are back. By the way, tell us who these
are these?
fabulous gentlemen
Yes.
are, please, please, please.
All right, on guitar, we got Randy Jacobs.
Yeah, baby.
Give it
Yes,
up.
we do. From Detroit, Michigan.
From Detroit, Michigan. I've played in bands with him for almost 20 years. I know. We were children. It's all right. We were in elementary school then. One of the most amazing guitarists on the planet.
The hottest band in the third grade.
And back here on keys, he co-wrote with me 4 songs on my new CD. The one that we just played you, Hot Sauce, and this next one, the next 2 actually that we're going to do for you, Wild Heart and I'll Be Your Home. He's got his own band. It's called David and Divine, and you should go home and you should Google that because they're just incredible. DavidandDivine.com, is that what it is? Sure. Shameless plug, but these guys are amazing, and we became friends, and I just think he's a phenomenal writer, phenomenal musician.
Well, we're
Give it
grateful
up for
they're here,
Dave
too.
Yaden.
Yeah.
And he's got great socks.
Right, he's sporting the pink socks
And the
today.
socks
Right.
are
That's right.
spectacular.
That's right. All right, well, do it. Take us away here.
All right, we're going to play you another song off the new one. This is the title track, and this is a song that David and I wrote, and I think it's a fun one. I called it Wild Heart. Thank you. I love that song. That's why it had to be the title track. I tried to find a title that encompassed all the music and that spoke about the music. I couldn't find that, but I did find a title that encompassed and spoke about me. And I have kind of an interesting journey, you know, playing with all the different people I've played with and putting my band together and doing the different styles of music that I've done with my band. So I thought Wild Heart was the correct title for a record talking about me. This next song, you gotta write a love song for any record, right? I wrote a bunch, but this was the one that made it. And this particular song, it talks about kind of where you find love or where you see love. Some people think, you know, I love going home, you know, and they think of that as the city that they go home to. Some people think of it as, you know, the brick and mortar, the building that they go to, that's my home. But then other people think of it as the person as their home. And I travel a lot, so I needed to write a song saying what I thought, which the person is your home. So this is I'll Be Your Home. On the CD, Kebmo sings along with me. And yeah, Kebmo. I love the way you say it. But Kebmo. But Randy's going to sing his part today. If you've lost your way, know that I'm here to stay. You know I'll reach out my hand, I'll always stand by you. And when you're down and out, you've been left high and dry, just call out my name, 'cause there ain't no shame in crying. And I'll always be by your side. We'll walk the winding road, and I'll bear your heavy load. I'll be your home. And in the darkness of night, you'll never be on your own. You don't have to go it alone, 'cause I'll be your home. You ain't got no money for rent, and all you've got is what's spent. You know the work is all gone, and your friends don't call you back. But we've got what money can't buy, and our love will keep us alive. You know we don't need a lot, we've always got tomorrow. I'll always be by your side. We'll walk the winding road, and I'll bear your heavy load. I'll be your home. And in the darkness of night, you don't have to go it alone, 'cause I'll be your home. Yeah.
Can I get an amen?
I got chills.
Can I get an amen? Stick around. We're going to take a break. Come back with more Mindi. Here on Breakfast with Gary and Kelly.
Wow.
Welcome back to Breakfast with Gary and Kelly, everybody. Nice.
I don't know about you, but I got goosebumps on my legs, and I'm all.
We got some responses to our
Oh,
selfie.
yes, we
our
did.
selfie.
Oh, really?
That's right.
I
In the Twitter sphere. I don't know what that is.
Well, the selfie that we took, I tweeted it out, and we have a couple in England.
Wow.
Nick and Rachel, they just got married, and they're listening.
And they say Kelly owes them $20 too. So I don't know what that. No, it's not really true at all.
No. But they're in England, and they say hello, and
That's great.
yeah,
That's
they
kinda cool.
respond like woohoo. So we got somebody.
I'll
from
tweet back.
across
There you go.
across the world.
Yeah, exactly. And up your
Just
block.
never know. Just
It's
never
really
know
true.
who's listening.
It's really true. It's
Seems
bizarre.
like it's just us in this room, but I do
are
know
on
that
You know
that's
what?
not.
I want to do a couple more of these things. You've had some crazy. You got some really cool pictures up on your website.
Do I?
You really
You
do.
did with
You really
people
do. I mean, look at this one. Look at this. Anybody
I
recognize that
remember
guy?
that.
I mean, how about that?
Oh no, I remember the day that you met him. I was watching, and I remember what he said.
Uh-huh.
I remember.
Who's your sax player, dude?
It's very funny. Actually, someone who's in the audience, Lisa Bradley, right there, she's sitting right in front of me.
That's right.
She came to one of the American Idol tapings, and she looked at me afterwards. She goes, "I'm sorry, that guy is taking you on the road. He is going
that
to
right?
ask you to join Aerosmith." And I looked at her, and I just was like, "You are high." And I love that you
much-
think that, but that will never happen in a
Oh,
million
my
years.
goodness.
But wouldn't it be cool? And so we kind of sat there and we're girls about it, like, wouldn't it be cool to be with Aerosmith? I mean, but exactly what
Well,
she
he was
said was
supposed
going to
to-
happen
He
did
was
happen.
he was supposed to be giving a critique of the singer, and the
Correct.
first words out of his mouth was,
Yeah.
"Who's your sax player?"
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Right. Exactly.
and was it Phil Phillips?
No, that was
who
it was Rob.
One of the contestants that was in the
yeah.
top 10, I believe.
I can't remember his
Yeah,
name.
and it was like, who is this guy? Who's your
Yeah.
sax player?
I know. I was
So
just like,
fun.
wow.
Sorry, dude.
How about
That
this?
was a lot of fun, though. And to
about
go
this
out with
one?
Aerosmith was, an incredible high. What a
Well,
great
now,
thing.
what is
Oh.
this? Did you play
there's
saxophone
that
with him?
dude.
Well, that was a night, actually, that Max Weinberg called me, and he said, Springsteen is going to come in and do this event with us. And it's called Stand Up for Heroes, and it's at the Beacon Theater in New York. And Max was the band, Springsteen was the special guest, and Bill Clinton was there and spoke. Jon Stewart did the hosting. Ricky Gervais came up. I mean, just all these huge people came up, and it was all to raise money for our veterans who have,
my.
been heroes in the war and
So here,
done
just
so
allow
much.
allow me to be a dad for a minute.
Who should I hang out with
more
more?
scary as a father to be? I don't know. Good news. Hey, Dad, I got to hang out with the president. Well, yeah, but it was. Oh God. Whatever.
I
Speaking
think
of
my
dad,
dad would have rather had it
Speaking
been
of
another president.
dad,
This is the photo that I
how
like.
cool is this?
That is it.
This has got to just be, and you've done this quite a few times, fortunately.
My father is playing B3 organ on my latest record, the one that you've got in your hand.
Wonderful.
Nice.
And
Wonderful.
he was a great inspiration to me early on. I grew up on the road with his band, and
Yeah,
he was
tell-
always.
yeah. Give us that whole
we want to know, especially,
backstory.
how in the heck did you, he obviously was a player.
Yeah.
So he played the saxophone.
He played saxophone and B3 organ.
And then when did you pick up the sax and say, what's this, Daddy?
I mean, the first 4 years of my life, I was on the road with his band, just traveling. We didn't even have a house. We just traveled from city to city. And he was that player that just had a good time. They were out there. It was kind of a blue-eyed soul band. It was called The Entertainers. And he was out there. He had moves. He had like shimmies and, all kinds of stuff. And he would knock his knees together. I mean, he was just out there sweating and rocking and rolling. And, in school band, I was 8 years old. I was in 4th grade. I went in, Mrs. Reynolds put all these, instruments out on the ground. And she goes, pick one that appeals to you and sit down. You can play whatever you want. And I always think back and think, what a great thing for a teacher to say, play
They don't
whatever
do
you
that
want,
now.
because you know, some people don't have band instruments and programs, which I fight tooth and nail to get those back. But then some other people, oh no, you're going to play a flute because you're a girl. No, you're not going to play a trumpet because you're a girl. No, we're going to leave that for the boys. And I had a person, Mrs. Reynolds, who just said, you play anything you want to play. And I'm like, Dad looked like he's having a blast with this thing, so I'm going to take this over here, and I'm going to be the one having the fun now.
Good for you.
Awesome.
Awesome. And so,
True.
so when was it that you started playing, obviously, and taking lessons? When was it that you realized that this is what I want to do for my life?
You know, I don't know that there was one, like, aha moment where, oh my gosh, this is what I should do. There were many along the way. I never really got lessons. I probably got 3 lessons before college.
Really?
Yeah, and my dad played, obviously, and my grandmother was an opera singer. She had a beautiful voice. But neither of them would teach me. They didn't want to be that person who turned their kid off to music.
Okay.
So they really wanted me to find it on my own. Which, looking back, I think that's good.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
you're going to think your dad's pretty
Pushing
uncool
you into it,
or something at some point. So I really did have to find it on my own. And so I just kind of slowly but surely, it became something I kind of found my identity with.
Yeah.
And, those of you who have kids, there's that point in your kid's life where he finds something or she finds something, whether it's football that like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. Like, I can be someone doing this, or I relate to this. Like I like these guys. I want to be their friends. I found that through band, and by playing, I felt like, wow, I like this. I can be me doing this, and people clap, and
They like me.
it's really cool.
Yeah, the
Were you in the
clapping
marching
part.
band in high school?
I was the drum major of the marching band.
There you go, baby.
Hey.
Yeah, and still, a lot of my concerts, if you go to some of the bigger festivals, I close my concerts bringing in local marching bands.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I've got a couple different songs of mine that have been
To get out
done for
your
marching band. And I'm just like, it's the coolest thing in the world for these kids to be in these bands. I mean, they don't just learn music.
Right.
Yeah.
They learn, discipline, they learn integrity, they learn teamwork. I mean, forget if they
Confidence.
become a musician like
A
me.
lot of transferable skills.
Huge life skills, and I just think it's so cool. These kids come in, and I work with them before the show, and they're kind of timid and okay, well, what are we doing? Okay, by the end, these kids are just rock stars. They just and we did it at the Hollywood Bowl, and these kids were
Oh,
just
my
like,
goodness.
wow, we just played at the Hollywood Bowl. We just did it in St. Petersburg, Florida, my hometown. We did it last week in Orlando, and we're doing it again in a couple weeks at Seabreeze Jazz Festival.
nice.
And it's just, I think that it's great to try and inspire these kids and give them some building blocks to get a little bit of what we had growing up. I think it's so important.
Oh, yeah. You know who's great and working with kids like that is Nicole Leone, I'm sure. As
Oh,
you
he's
know.
amazing.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so,
It
it's
takes
so important. It is so important, especially now with, no money in the schools for music.
I
It's just
remember when they
crazy.
did the same exact thing that they did for you. I picked the clarinet.
Clarinet's cool.
But
Well, you didn't hear her play it, so.
I couldn't do it. My reeds kept breaking.
You might have tuned the cool right out of the clarinet. I don't know. It's possible.
I didn't continue.
Yeah, right.
But I'm telling you, with the music that they have, the music programs, it's hard that they don't have that now.
I know.
I
know.
They don't have that at all. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Mindy, tell
comes
us about
back, hopefully.
what you're doing politically. I mean, you were just in D.C. Yeah.
I got really involved, like we're talking about with
Yeah.
education. I started going in one of the foundations that does the most for kids. It's called the Grammy Foundation. And I know we all know the Grammys as the one day a year that they give out awards, but the Grammys, it's an association called the Recording Academy that puts on the Grammys, and they do so much charitable work through the year, it's ridiculous. They have the Grammy Foundation that goes in for music education to kids of all ages, inspires them, gives them money, gives them tools and resources, bring in artists to speak to them, to inspire them, to kind of guide them. They put on things like Grammy Camp that kids can go to and work with songwriters and learn engineering and all these skills. Then they have something called Music Cares that that when musicians get in trouble, you get sick, you don't have insurance. We don't have 401ks and insurance through our companies. We're self-employed. That Music Cares will come in and pick you up, pay your bills, help you in so many ways. So I got kind of involved through the charity work because I just thought, wow, they have this whole framework put together that I can just be in and do this great work with people.
Yeah.
What I didn't know was they do advocacy as well. And so now, I've become, I became a governor on the Board of Governors for the Los Angeles chapter. I was that for 3 years. Then I became the secretary of the chapter, and now I'm the president of the LA chapter of NARAS.
Good for you. Good for you.
Now, do you go to
That's really
Washington
terrific.
and speak on behalf of the organization?
That's
and
like, I just wanted
lobby?
to do more and more and more. I was like, all right, I could do that as the president? Okay, I'm doing that. But yeah, we send, there were a couple hundred people that descended on Capitol Hill last week. And it was all our members, the Recording Academy's members. We were briefed by 22 lobbyists on the different things that we need as creators of music. We're looking at a performance rights bill that help musicians and artists who perform but never get paid on radio. Like a great example is Sheila E. You probably know her from Glamorous Life. She had a huge hit, right?
Sure, right.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, when that plays on the radio, she played on it, sang it, she's the artist, she doesn't make a cent. And she never has.
Why?
Because there is no performance royalty in this country. Every other country, except for about 3 in the world, pays a performance royalty to their artists and musicians who play on recordings. The only person who gets paid on that song is Prince because he wrote it. And not that the songwriter doesn't deserve that, they deserve to get paid too, but the artists who make the song famous and the musicians who create the sound should, get paid as well. So we're fighting for that.
I should do that. I know. Wow. Especially all the ones that you can think of in the past that, I've got a whole lot of songs in my head right now that I'm thinking. What about Stop?
Good night, everybody.
Like Max Sennett and Peggy Lee on Fever.
Of course.
That's,
no question.
that's the first thing that popped in my head. I'm thinking they don't get royalties for that.
Yeah, it's something that, just Joe Schmo off the street, you don't understand that.
Right.
But, the artists that are trying to make a living, they've got all these things out there that people are, living to and breathing to and shopping to and cleaning their house to. They're not getting paid. So the only, kind of revenue stream that they can get is maybe going on the road. But some of these artists are aging. You look at people like Booker T, he's probably around 70 years old. Does he want to tour for the next 20 years of his life? I mean, probably not. It's probably getting old by now.
Oh, I saw B.B. King in concert a couple months ago. The guy is still great, but he played like maybe 4 songs, and I just love him to death, and I was like, oh, man.
We shouldn't make our artists have to tour to make a living.
Yeah,
we should, pay them
There's a whole,
what they do. And
Well, that's a whole other show, too.
That's another Oprah.
You get into the whole Wrecking Crew situation in the movie and all that stuff. But
it was really inspiring to be a part of the democratic process. We met, these are nonpartisan issues. We met with Democrats, Republicans. I ended up serenading Harry Reid and Barbara Boxer in the Capitol Hill, But we met with everyone across the board, and it was great to kind of bring in music. Music can change people's minds, and you can play them a little something, and they're like, you're right. Someone should be getting paid.
Well, you're a great role model, a great voice for the musicians, and I'm sure that they appreciate all the work that you've been doing for them. Thank you. So,
we're gonna take a break and come back and make you play for free again for us.
Wait a minute.
Stick around here. We're gonna come back and get another song out of Mindi here on Breakfast with Gary and Kelly. It's ridiculous.
I can't believe how fast this morning has gone.
I know. It's gone so fast.
We need another hour.
I know. We'll
have her back. How's that?
We'll have to get her to come back again.
Yeah?
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's, before we even lose our chance, thanks so much, Randy, for coming. Dave, great to meet you. This is really a real treat to have you guys here
Definitely.
contributing. And obviously, please, what are we going to hear? Another one off the new one, right?
You're going to hear another one off the new one. Yeah,
There you
we're
go.
just inundating you with new music.
That's all right.
And there's tons of people that write the songs about everything that goes wrong, the bad day, the stuff that just completely fell apart.
It's a show.
This
the song is about this show.
new song that I'm going to sing you now, this is about all the stuff that went right.
There
You know, sometimes you have to celebrate when you're on a winning streak, you know? And when I wrote this, I was on a winning streak. I had done American Idol, and we were going out with Aerosmith. It was just this, you know, everything was great. So I wrote a song about when everything's great, you got to celebrate that. This is called I Can't Lose. Baby said that when you're dead, you're done, but I ain't dead yet. I'm still having fun. Ooh, 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 ooh. Life is tough and it can take you down, but this queen ain't ready to lose her crown. Ooh, 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 ooh. And money comes and money goes. No, it doesn't matter to me. And there's hell to pay, but heaven knows why I'm riding this winning streak, son. You think that I'm done, but I'm on a run, baby, I can't lose. Can't you see that I'm on to the teeth? I've got an ace up my sleeve, baby, I can't lose. And I've come to play and I play to win, and there's more to me behind this grin. Ooh, 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 ooh. And I've moved on from yesterday. You know it's my time, it's gonna go my way. Ooh, 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 ooh. Love will come and love will go. You know it's just a shame to me. Can dream, but I still know that I ain't done with this winning streak, son. You think that I'm done, but I'm on the run, baby, I can't lose. Can't you see that I'm on to the teeth? Got an ace up my sleeve, baby, I can't lose. You know, son, you think that I'm done, but I'm on a run, baby, I can't lose. And can't you see that I'm on to the teeth? Got an ace up my sleeve, I can't lose. You think that I'm done, but I'm on a run, baby, I can't lose. Can't you see that I'm on to the teeth? Got an ace up my sleeve, baby, I can't lose. I said, son, you think that I'm done, but I'm on a run, baby, I can't lose. Can't you see that I'm on to the teeth? Got an ace up my sleeve, I can't lose.
Thank you so much.
Mindi Abair, everybody. Thanks, guys.
Oh, gosh. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wild Heart, pick it up. Continued great success. Great success. Good luck. So glad you did it.
You gotta have a groove in the morning. guys to sing with me. Just you and me. Yeah, I like this. Let's take it home, come on.